Hello, children. Are you ready for today's story? Put away your toys and any distraction, and make sure your ears are ready to listen. Let's take a deep breath together and get ready to discover something amazing. The amazing story of creation. A long time ago, before there were trees, before there were animals, before there were people, planets, or even stars, there was only God. There were no clocks, no calendars, no time, just a big, silent, empty darkness. But God was there, and He had a wonderful plan. God looked at the darkness and said something powerful, "Let there be light." And just like that, light appeared. Bright, beautiful light filled the emptiness. God smiled and said, "That's good." He called the light day and the darkness night. That was the very first day in the history of everything. On the second day, God looked at the waters and said, "Let there be a space between the waters." And suddenly, the waters above were separated from the waters below. That big space in between, God called it sky. The sky stretched out blue and white, and fluffy clouds began to float. God smiled again, and that was day 2. Next, God said, "Let the waters below gather together, and let dry land appear." Splash, gurgle, swish! Dry land rose up, and the water gathered into oceans, seas, rivers, and lakes. God called the dry land earth and the water seas. But He wasn't done. "Let plants grow," God said. And suddenly, whoosh, the earth was covered in green grass, tall trees, colorful flowers, juicy fruits, and crunchy vegetables. There were bushes, vines, seeds, and fruit trees with apples, bananas, mangoes, everything you can imagine. God looked at it all and said, "This is very good." That was day 3. God then said, "Let lights appear in the sky to separate day from night." Boom! The sun lit up the sky with warmth and brightness during the day. And for the night, God made the soft, glowing moon and sprinkled the sky with twinkling stars, big ones, tiny ones, some in clusters, some alone. He put them in perfect order to mark time, days, months, and years. God looked at His sparkly sky and said, "This is good." That was day 4. Next, God looked at the sea and the sky and said, "Let the waters be filled with living creatures, and let birds fly across the sky." Suddenly, splash, flap, chirp! Fish swam through the oceans, little ones, big ones, colorful ones, and some with fins and tails like fans. Dolphins leaped, turtles paddled, and even whales sang deep songs in the sea. In the air, birds fluttered and soared, eagles, parrots, owls, doves, and butterflies too. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and fill the sky and the seas." That was day 5. Then God said, "Let the earth be filled with all kinds of animals." And poof, there they were. Lions roared, elephants trumpeted, giraffes stretched their long necks, monkeys chattered in the trees, cows mooed, horses neighed, and puppies barked. Big animals, tiny animals, creepy crawly ones, and hoppers too. But then, God did something very, very special. He said, "Let us make human beings in our image." So God bent down to the dust of the earth and carefully formed the first man. He breathed his own breath into him, and the man came to life. His name was Adam. Then later, God made a beautiful garden called Eden for Adam to live in. But God saw Adam was lonely, so he made a woman to be his friend and helper. Her name was Eve. Together, Adam and Eve would care for God's creation and walk with him in friendship. God looked at everything he had made, the sun, the moon, the trees, the animals, the people, and he said, "This is very good." That was the end of day 6. On the 7th day, God rested. Not because he was tired, but because he was finished, and he wanted to enjoy what he made. God made that day holy, a special day for rest, for peace, and for remembering him. In just 6 days, God had created the sky, the sea, the land, the sun and moon, the animals, and finally, people, you and me. He made it all with love, care, and creativity. What can we learn from the creation story? God is the creator of everything, big and small. We are made in his image, special and loved. Rest is part of God's design, even God paused to enjoy. Everything God made has a purpose, including you. So next time you see a bird flying, watch the stars twinkle, or feel the wind blow through the trees, remember, God made all of it and he made it good. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share your lessons with your friends. I will see you next time for another fantastic story.